Chernoff?
Andrew Guest, please. Andrew Guest.
No, it's not necessary. Thank you. And may I see counsel for just a moment, please? Thank you. Sure, Mr. Guest. Thank you.
Sir, please stand in the witness box. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated. Please state your name for the record. Spell your first and last names.
Andrew Guest, A-N-D-R-E-W, Guest, G-U-E-S-T.
Microphone working.
The mic is working, and it's going to be my first admonition to Mr. Guest is to speak up a little bit.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Guest, good morning.
Good morning.
I do deliver certain instructions to witnesses in every case. Some people think it's unnecessary, but every witness is different, so I want to make sure you understand it. The first instruction is really do speak as loudly as you can into the mic. Why don't you click it? Just let's make sure it's working. Okay. Sometimes, because of the witness's position, we don't hear what we should, so do speak up. Using the mic, although you don't have to speak right on top of it. If you speak too closely, we'll get some really distracting feedback.
Okay.
So that's the first instruction. The second instruction is to sit back and relax. The third instruction is to please wait until you hear an entire question before you answer it, even though you may think what's being requested and you know the answer.
Okay.
So sit back, relax, answer loudly. When you're called upon to provide a yes or no answer to a question, answer yes or no rather than slang uh-huh or uh-uh, which can be really confusing. Is all of that acceptable?
Yes.
Thank you. Direct exam by the defense. Mr. Chernoff.
Mr. Guest, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Where do you live?
I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay. How old are you?
I am 48 years old.
And how long have you lived in Las Vegas, Nevada?
I've lived there approximately 10 years.
All right. And can you tell us where you work, what you do?
I work at Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino as a locksmith.
Now, do you know this gentleman that's sitting to my left, Dr. Conrad Murray?
Yes, sir, I do.
Indicating Dr. Murray.
When did you first meet Dr. Murray?
I met Dr. Murray in April of 2002.
You would have been 39?
Correct.
How did you meet Dr. Murray?
I met Dr. Murray through my primary physician, Dr. Dixon. He referred me to Conrad Murray.
And what was the principal complaint that you had with your physician?
Chest pain, arm pain, headaches.
Did your principal physician take any kind of tests, do any kind of tests on you?
Yes, he did. He ran a EKG, and I believe a couple other tests. I'm not certain of it, but he did run some other tests on me.
All right, and then he simply gave you the name of Dr. Murray and told you to go call him, or how did that happen?
No, Dr. Dixon actually called Dr. Murray on the cell phone. Dr. Murray was out of the country, I believe, at the time, and got in touch with him on the phone and made an appointment for me to see him as soon as I got back, or as soon as he got back into the country.
And when did you see Dr. Murray?
I saw him, I believe it was in early April
Of 2002.
of 2002.
All right, so I mean, how soon after Dr. Dixon made this phone call did you see Dr. Murray?
I would say it would be just a few days.
When you went in to see Dr. Murray, were you further examined?
Yes. Dr. Murray ran some tests. I believe he also did an EKG. And
Did you do a treadmill test?
no, I did not do a treadmill test. Dr. Murray stated that my past condition, family genetics, he stated to me that I could die during the stress test. So he would like to see me in a hospital environment where he had control. He had a team to back him up.
Well, did you go to the hospital for a specific purpose?
I don't understand.
After that, did you go to a hospital?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I saw him in his office, and I went into the hospital for the procedure itself.
And what procedure was that?
Started off as an angiogram.
Okay. And then how did it proceed from there?
He actually had to do some work and put in some stents.
Okay. How many stents were put in?
I'm not exactly sure. The first procedure, I believe it was 2 or 3 stents.
And do you know which hospital this was that you were treated at?
Yes, Desert Springs.
Tell me about the procedure. Tell us how it went. Were you knocked out? Did you observe the procedure?
I'm allergic to iodine, so it started off with Dr. Murray providing me a prescription to help me keep from having an allergic reaction to the iodine. Once I got into the facility, they actually did their portion of the procedure, putting in IVs and so forth. They also gave me Benadryl to help with the allergic reaction. I was wheeled into a room with the machinery. Dr. Murray came in with his team, and the procedure started.
All right. Were you awake during the procedure?
Yes.
You were?
Yes.
Do you recall being sedated?
Slightly,
Okay. You were
due
not?
to the Benadryl.
Okay. Did you receive any other sedation that you know of?
I don't know of any other sedation at that time. I know I was given a local, I believe, in the leg, so they can do the procedure.
You just remember being awake, though, during the procedure?
Correct.
All right. And you observed, can you explain where Dr. Murray ran this catheter through? What part of your body?
From the groin area and a major artery up through your major arteries up into your heart area.
And you were watching this on the screen while this was going on?
Correct, yes.
At any point, were you confused about what was happening? Did you know what was happening to you?
Never had it before, so I was real concerned watching the heart monitor, making sure it was still beating. But Dr. Murray stopped and asked me if I was okay and if everything was going well for me, and yes, it was.
How was the procedure? Did it resolve your chest pains?
It did resolve the chest pains.
And after the procedure, was that it, or was there more procedures required?
I had a procedure 1 month later. Same thing, stents.
Was this scheduled?
Yes.
Okay, well, tell us how you got to do that a month later.
The first procedure, if I recall right, there was an area in one of my arteries that Dr. Murray was concerned with being very thin, and I believe that the Desert Springs Hospital at the time didn't have the correct instruments to take care of that. So I was scheduled to go to another hospital a month later and ended up going back to Desert Springs Hospital once they got that equipment in.
Did Dr. Murray explain to you that's why he was not doing it on that date?
Correct. Yes, he was very worried about blowing the wall of my artery out.
Okay. Now, if I were to ask you, Mr. Guest, whether or not Dr. Murray was a reckless doctor, or whether he has care and treats patients with care and caution, would you have an opinion about that?
Yes, sir, I would.
What would that opinion be?
That man sitting there is the best doctor I've ever seen. He also explains everything he's going to do. He makes sure you're okay during the procedure. During the procedure, after the procedure, he's actually called me at home on a weekend and asked me how I was doing. And he's a great guy. I mean, he follows up with everything, makes sure everything's explained.
Thank you, Mr. Guest. Appreciate it. Pass the witness.
Mr. Chernoff, thank you. Cross-examination by the people. Mr. Walgren.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You know Gary Cossey, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you travel out here with him?
I did not, sir.
Okay. You've done media interviews with him.
I have done one interview at CNN.
Who else was a guest on that show as far as Dr. Murray's patients?
Dennis and Ruby.
Dennis and Ruby, you know them on a first-name basis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's Dennis Hicks and Ruby Mosley, is it?
Correct.
Okay. You guys have all kind of become friends?
As we meet, yes.
Okay. Now, you indicated when you received, again, all your treatment from Dr. Murray was for a heart condition, correct?
Correct.
And it took place in a hospital because it was important to Conrad Murray to have, quote, a team to back him up.
Correct.
And of course, when this procedure took place in a hospital, the team was there as well as the heart monitors and the necessary medical equipment, correct?
Correct.
And I don't mean to be flip, I mean this in all seriousness. Dr. Murray never gave you propofol in your bedroom, did he?
No, sir.
And wouldn't you agree? Is that a correct statement that Conrad Murray never gave you propofol in your bedroom?
Correct.
And wouldn't you agree that the level of care Dr. Murray gave you with a whole entire team to back him up in a hospital with the medical equipment, wouldn't you believe that every patient deserves that level of care? Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, sir, I do believe that that statement is true, but I
Thank
also
you.
believe that
Thank you. You've answered the question. Every patient deserves that level of care, correct?
Yes, sir. Am
Thanks.
The answer to the question.
Thank you.
Why?
Just a moment. Redirect.
Yes, Judge. Thank you. Why? You were going to explain.
I said a team because that is in a hospital environment. He provides service in his own office, great care in his office. He makes sure you're doing fine.
And Mr. Guest, that was literally a procedure you were getting at the hospital. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. It's an operation.
Yes, sir.
All right. Did CNN pay you for your interview?
No, sir.
Why did you do it?
I believe that Dr. Murray is not getting a fair shake. I believe he needs support, and I appreciate his kindness, his caring, and I'm alive today because of that man.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Guest.
Chernoff, thank you. Recross, Mr. Walgren?
And Mr. Guest, nothing would change your mind about Dr. Murray, correct?
No, sir.
That's a correct statement?
That is correct.
Thank you, Mr. Guest.
Mr. Walgren, thank you. We redirect, Mr. Chernoff?
No, Judge. Thank you.
May Mr. Guest be excused, Mr. Chernoff?
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Walgren?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Mr. Guest, I want to thank you for your testimony, sir. Please don't discuss your testimony or the facts of the case with any other witness until we finish the trial, and you may step down and leave, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chernoff?
Judge Lunette Sampson.